On an icy December night, the town slept quietly under the white blanket of freshly fallen snow. Its history was decorated with white cottages and colored lights, however, at the edge of town. A house abandoned years ago stood silently waiting. The story of the old house had been a rumor among the townspeople for years. The owner, Mr. Winterfield, had mysteriously disappeared one Christmas Eve. Since then, the townspeople believe that Mr. Winterfield's ghost haunted the house every Christmas night. A legend circulated among the town's youth that going to Mr. Winterfield's old house was a test of courage. A group of friends decided to test this legend on Christmas Eve. They walked through the snow-covered streets and arrived at the door of the old house. When the door rustled open, the young men stepped inside. Inside the house, a cold wind circulated and the floor creaked with every step. The walls of the rooms were covered with old Christmas decorations and dusty curtains. As the young people wandered through the mysterious atmosphere of the old house, they noticed that the door to a room was open. When they entered the room, there were old Christmas cards and a Christmas tree on a table. However, the room looked as if it had not been used for years. The young people felt that something was wrong in the room. Suddenly, the lights in the room went out as the door closed behind them. As the room filled with darkness, a dull silhouette appeared in front of the young people and began to speak with a gloomy smile. This silhouette was the ghost of Mr. Winterfield. As the young people's hearts raced, the ghost began to tell them about his dark past. Mr. Winterfield had lost his own family many years ago. On Christmas Eve, he had committed suicide. Unable to bear the separation of the townspeople from him, however, his posthumous spirit could not put an end to his loneliness and regrets. Every Christmas Eve, he returned to his old home and had to relive the tragedy over and over again. As the young people listened to the sad story of Mr. Winterfield's ghost, the room suddenly turned ice cold, appearing in the center of the room. The ghost spoke with a horrible mood, surrounding the young people. "You will be like me. You'll be trapped here forever." Suddenly, all the candles in the room went out, and the young people were left alone in the darkness. A cold wind howled around the young people. Then, as the door of the old house rustled shut, they were trapped in the gloomy house forever, along with the ghost of Mr. Winterfield. When the townspeople learned that the young people never returned, the ghost story of the old house grew stronger every Christmas Eve. When the townspeople passed by the door of the house, they believed that the mysterious noises and cold wind coming from inside were the sad wails of the ghost, and the old house on the edge of town remained a dark Christmas legend. The cold hand of winter enveloped the town, the snowflakes falling gently to the ground, all the houses glowing with warm lights. But a dark shadow waited in an old mansion just outside the town. The owner of the manor was known as Esme the Witch. Esme the Witch's name was associated with fear and dread among the townspeople. The mansion where Esme the Witch was said to live was a nightmare for children. However, a group of brave young people decided to put the legend of Esme the Witch to the test. On Christmas Eve, the young people set off through the snowy streets of the town towards the mansion. The howling of the wind and the light crunch of the snow sounded as if they were coming from deep in the dark forest. When they arrived at Witch Esme's mansion, the door rustled open, as if inviting them in. The mansion was cold inside, weathered by time, and mysterious shadows lurked in its dark corners. As the young people passed through rooms filled with history at every step, the atmosphere of the mansion felt like it was squeezing them. As they wandered around the first floor, they heard a mysterious timbre. Melodic bells were being played by an old piano at the end of the hallway. When they entered the piano room, an old piano in the center of the room began to play by itself. However, no one touched it, but the keys played by themselves. The melodic sound filled the room, creating a gloomy atmosphere. Suddenly, the piano went silent, and a pale light in the corner of the room revealed the ghost of the witch Asm. The ghost of Asm the witch mysteriously wanders around the piano, telling young people the dark secrets of the past. Years ago, Asm the witch was a woman who lived in town. However, the death of one of her children in a tragic accident pushed her to the edge of madness. To ease her own pain, Witch Asm resorted to dark spells and eventually began targeting the town's children. As the youth listened to the story told by the ghost of Witch Asm, a thin mist rose from the walls of the mansion. As the ghost tried to lure the youngsters into her tragic fate, the doors of the room rustled shut and the youngsters were trapped inside. The ghost of Asm the witch explained that she needed the energy of the young people to free their souls trapped in the mansion. Inside the mansion, the young people were led by the ghost of the witch Asm through the labyrinthine corridors. At every step, they were followed by the screams of ghosts and strange noises. Finally, the young people reached the most remote point of the mansion. Here, the ghost of the witch Asm led them into the middle of a ritual. Suddenly, bright lights rose from the walls of the room, and a strange wave of energy spread through the mansion. The young people felt, to their horror, the release of spirits trapped in the past. The witch Asm's ghost thanked the young people gratefully and disappeared in a beam of light. As the young people left the mansion, the stars shone brightly in the sky, and the town was once again peaceful, without the curse of the witch Asm's ghost. But behind that night, the dark experience etched in the young people's souls changed their lives forever. The ghosts of the manor were released, but the ghost of the witch Asm seemed to remain there forever, along with her dark past. In an old forest rising on the edge of town, an amusement park, abandoned years ago, waited quietly. The Luna Park's weathered sign attracted the townspeople like a mysterious invitation shining with colorful lights. However, no one knew the dark secrets inside this old amusement park. On Christmas Eve, the town's young people gathered together to discover the secrets. The Luna Park's entrance gate mysteriously opened by itself, and the youngsters followed the glowing paths under the colorful lights inside Luna Park. It was as if a place that had once been overflowing with joy and fun had now turned into a silent ghost town. But the young people set out to shed light on Luna Park's past, while making Christmas night unforgettable. As the teens traveled through the old-time attractions, they discovered a mysterious door behind one attraction. The door was called the Shadow of Winter. This part of Luna Park had a different atmosphere from the other areas at the entrance. The lights were dimmed, and the atmosphere seemed to reflect an atmosphere of magic. When the young people entered the Shadow of Winter attraction, the door closed by itself, and it was as if they had completely left the world they had left behind. They felt a change in the atmosphere. The flickering of the lights merged with the sad melody of the wind. A figure appeared in the center of the attraction and began to reveal to the youngsters the dark secrets of Luna Park. The figure was the ghost of Mr. Noel. This mysterious figure, who owned Luna Park years ago, was trapped in the attractions as a result of a dark ritual to keep his spirit and energy. The energy inside Luna Park had stolen the joy and hope of the visitors, and Luna Park had become a ghost town. Mr. Noel's ghost has given young people the opportunity to travel through a time warp into Luna Park's past. The young people began to witness the old days of Luna Park as people dressed in colorful costumes enjoyed the screaming fun. Mr. Noel spread his magic throughout Luna Park, sucking the souls of the visitors. Young people began to understand the joyous days of Luna Park, visualizing the ghosts of the past. However, this journey into the past began to affect the souls of the young people as well. The dark magic of Luna Park began to steal the joy and hope from the young people. The ghost of Mr. Noel told the teens to track down the lost souls inside Luna Park. As the teens wandered through the maze-like corridors of the attractions, they encountered lost souls. Each of them had once been trapped under Luna Park's energy and were now waiting to be released. When the teens reached the center of Luna Park, they encountered a dark wizard under an old Christmas tree. The sorcerer had taken control of Luna Park and diverted the energy. Giving strength to each other, the young people spun around in the center of Luna Park and began to attract positive energy. The atmosphere of Luna Park suddenly changed. Colorful lights began to twinkle, attractions came to life, and the ghost of the past lit up with beauty. Mr. Noel's ghost disappeared with thanks, and Luna Park was restored to its former glory. As the young people stepped out of Luna Park's gates, they set out to discover the beauty of a snowy Christmas night on the town's lighted streets. Luna Park's dark secrets would remain a Christmas legend in the memory of the townspeople. Luna Park had brought peace to the town, a true entertainment center that no longer stole joy and hope